Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Outlook and Report. It is Sunday night and clouds rolling in. We had it mostly sunny until about the middle of the day, around 1 o'clock. Then the cirrus started streaming in. But I just want to talk a little bit about yesterday for a little bit before we get started. So yesterday we had a lot of wind, and I just want to show you what it looked like when this front was coming through. This was the front approaching Rockville Center at night. You could actually see the rain shafts from these clouds. This was by the lake there, and another look at it here. And we had that brief shower with some wind gusts, as you saw in the video. So interesting day yesterday. And let's look at also some interesting clouds in the sky, too, yesterday at sunset as well. And it was a very warm day. Now, as far as today goes, it was clear in the Pine Barrens. It was real nice. I have a short video of that. And then we had the cirrus kind of come in around 1:30, 2 o'clock. You could see the cirrus streaming in. And then by evening, it was a high to mid-level overcast. So these clouds streamed in pretty quickly. And luckily, we had a little more clear time on Long Island versus further south. But you can see this whole system here, this next big system here, and severe weather again breaking out all along in the south again, as you see here. Definitely going to be an issue. So let's first talk a little bit about yesterday's weather. We'll go to iSlip's climatological report. We'll look at the one for yesterday first. So yesterday, we'll go to the yesterday. Let's go. I think this is the yesterday one, right? So yesterday it got up to 60, and it went down to 30. Minimum low was 38. Still 7 degrees above normal. The high being 11 above normal. So and then today we had a high of 47 and a low of 31. So for once, we were actually 3 degrees below normal. That's right, a rare below normal day in a month that has been filled with temperatures above normal. So it definitely felt chilly today, especially in the morning. That it definitely felt a little more wintry for sure. So let's go to our observations here across the area. You can see the winds have shifted to the south now, but they were pretty breezy from the northwest earlier on. And actually, since midnight, there was a gust of 43 at Islip. And you can see here, we'll just track our temperatures. We'll actually look a little bit at yesterday here, because yesterday was kind of interesting in the fact that the highs were reached later in the day. So earlier on, there was a sea breeze, south-southwest winds keeping temperatures in the 50s. But then when the wind went to west, the temperature shot up to the upper 50s to around 60. As far as today goes, to start the day, we were below freezing, and then we struggled. We didn't even make it up to 50, so we're only in the 40s today. And you can see some of these northwest winds here, some gusts up to into the 20s there. And then this looks like some kind of malfunction here. But the wind did shift as we got toward the evening to the southwest ahead of this next system that's coming on in. So let's look at our highs across the area. You'll notice winter weather rises well to the north because there's enough cold air out there. There could be some frozen precipitation, but highs generally only in the mid to upper 40s. That was it. It did get closer to 50 in Jersey, but not really that warm at all. Below normal for them too. Lows around 30 degrees. So most lows in most areas were below freezing, and definitely felt quite chilly this morning for sure. Yeah, let's trying to figure out where to start here. All right, so here's the satellite. This big storm here that we have. I'll show you the MODIS satellite as well for today as well. So let's take a look at that. Wait for that to load. Doesn't seem to want to load. Of course, it doesn't want to load. All right, I guess it's down. All right, let's go to the radar and look at our storm here, and you can see all the snow that's breaking up in the breaking out in the Great Lakes area. But you have showers and thunderstorms. I know some of them are severe, and some are tornadic. You can see in Arkansas, stretching into Dallas. Stretching into Texas and Mississippi and Alabama. And you'll see here that that there's some of the moisture that will stream into our area and bring us a rather rainy Monday for a good chunk of the day. Hopefully, it'll clear out by late in the afternoon. but definitely an active situation there. Looking at the low, here's your, again, a really messy low here. Look at all these warm fronts that they have drawn up. But you can see this is what's going to be affecting us tomorrow. We'll do our surface analysis. Again, you see a couple of different warm fronts here. So this is a really kind of messy low, and it's causing all this severe weather. And we do have a number of warnings out, so we're going to actually pull this out here, show you. There's a big tornado watch covering, it looks like tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch, and if we just take the watches out of here and just show the warnings, which is what I want to do, you see it doesn't look like there are any active tornado warnings, but there are a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings right now with this. So I don't think we'll see any thunderstorms tomorrow, but there is some of the moisture from that will wind up getting into the area and causing some issues for tomorrow. So we'll talk about all that. We'll go over the. Let's close that out here. So this is the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see where they got that risk for severe weather in the convective outlook. And we go to tomorrow. It looks like a lot less active. So it's mainly going to be active today, tonight, basically. It looks like day 2 doesn't really show much. There is a marginal, but that's well off to the south. We won't have to worry about any thunderstorm activity here. Let's go over the models and what's going to be happening as we close out the month of March. So we'll start with the jet stream, I guess. So obviously we still got this kind of split flow. There's a little trough that comes through, brings a little bit of cooler air as we get toward the middle of the week. Still got this fast moving pattern. So ridge and then another trough, another storm, and then another storm, and then another storm. So yeah, there's a lot of storminess here, as you see, one after another. We'll look at the European as well. It's probably going to show a similar type of deal, probably. Yep. One after another, after another, after another. And then maybe toward the end of the period, as we get into April, we start to see things calm down and see a little more ridging. We'll go to the, that was the jet stream, so we'll go to the upper air. See, there's your first trough right there. And the trough comes through. That's what's going to keep the temperatures a little cooler this week. Then we see the ridge. And then we see that big ridge as we head into April. So that's where, when we get into April, I think that's when we'll start seeing things warm up as far as temperatures go. Because right now it's been a little bit cooler. We haven't seen too much in the way of really warm weather lately. Looking at the GFS, kind of similar deal. There's a trough this week, and then you get some ridging for the weekend, and then another trough comes through. And then the GFS, though, wants to keep some more troughing around versus the European. So there is a disagreement in the long range. This is the 18Z run, however. Let's see what the 12Z run looks like here. Yeah, GFS still wants to have a little bit of a stormier look to things, I think. Still somewhat stormier look. And this is another look, a different way of process. I don't usually use that particular one. You get the idea. So we'll go and look at our temperature anomaly chart here, as well as precipitation. Actually, I will pull this down to the CONUS level. So we're on the GFS, and we'll just stick with the 12Z because that's what I'm showing right now. It's kind of for continuity purposes because we're using the 12Z European as well. So you can see that below normal air we had today. Tomorrow, near normal. And then we see the temperatures kind of get, Tuesday we bump up a little bit, but then some more cooler air comes in for Wednesday. And then we see some more colder air coming in for the weekend on the GFS. And again, the GFS doesn't really look all that warm. It still wants to keep troughiness around. However, if we go to the European, there will be a difference. So we'll go look at the European. I mean, they agree on this week as far as the temperatures go. But you can see here, European, a little different here. It looks like it's got a warm front trying to make its way through on Saturday and then Sunday, and it gets us above normal. And after that, we're pretty much well above normal. So big difference between the two models right now. Let's go and look at the surface. So that high moves out. We get some rain tomorrow, and then dry Tuesday, and then another little weak system tries to threaten our area with some precipitation on part of Wednesday. Then a high builds down with cooler air for Tuesday, and then we have to watch this setup for the weekend. Now we're looking at the European here. Now the European, again, wants to try to bring a warm front through, and if that warm front winds up getting stuck, you know what that means, sucky drizzle. So right now it's kind of, eventually it will make it through. But then we have a low that's going to pass the north, bringing another front through for April 1st. And you can see here a different look on the European. Definitely you could see that ridging. And it also probably tends to be drier. I'm just going to do the total accumulated precip as well. Yeah, tends to be drier. So it's only giving us another maybe less than 2 inches of rain. This is not good when it comes to this drought. So we'll go ahead and look at the GFS now on the 12Z run. So here's the 12Z GFS. Well, GFS a little beefier with the precipitation tomorrow. And then dry Tuesday, and it's more offshore with that system for Wednesday. And then for Friday, you can see, and then Saturday, we still have that. They kind of agree that there's going to be this system, but you can see the placement is different. So the European wants to build that ridge stronger, bring the warm front through. The GFS definitely would give us a sucky Saturday, that kind of setup right there with the overrunning precipitation. And that could linger into Sunday, and then another system for a little break on Monday, and then another system for Tuesday. And that kind of has the rain linger around, and then another system. So GFS definitely is a lot wetter, and I'm sure that's going to show here when we do our total accumulated precip. Yeah, it's more like around, we're going to get like 2 inches of precipitation here, but it's not really heavy precipitation, but it's just a lot of different precipitation events. So definitely has more days with precipitation. We can put it that way, and a little wetter as well, a little bit of a wetter look to things. So now that we've kind of on over the long range, let's go back and go to the short range models, which hopefully we should have fully in right now. 0Z HRRR, and we'll start with dew points and wind flow. So that colder air moving on out. South winds take over tonight. Southeast winds tomorrow as this low passes by, and then they will eventually shift to the west by late in the afternoon, early evening, drying things out. But that dry out may be delayed. We're going to look at this for a moment here. And then we have the west winds take over on Tuesday, bringing in drier air, it looks like. But then they quickly shift to the south again because the next system comes in. So it's kind of a quick moving pattern with lots of systems moving through. Tonight, the temperatures probably won't drop that much because we've got the cloud cover. Only probably mid to upper 30s. And then for tomorrow, again, with all the cloud cover around, we're probably only going to see highs in the low 50s, probably. Maybe a little bit warmer in interior New Jersey, maybe mid-50s. And then tomorrow night, the temperatures drop again after this front moves through to the mid-30s. And then Tuesday, not all that warm again. We'll probably be around average, probably a high around 50 degrees, maybe low 50s, according to this. Of course, sometimes the models can underestimate it, and of course, it will be a little bit warmer in New Jersey, probably mid-50s there. So now we're going to look at the precipitation because this is our next rainmaker that's going to be coming through for later tonight. So you can see it already brings a little light rain in after midnight, mainly lighter rain, and then as we get toward the late morning hours, a steady rain develops, and it could linger around. It keeps slowing it down now. All right, so it looks like it could linger around until like 5 o'clock. It could linger around until the system just is moving very slowly, and the models seem to want to keep being slower with it. And then for Tuesday, we would be dry, but then we'd have to worry about the next system for Wednesday. Now, as far as total accumulated precip from this next system that we have coming through, it could give a half to maybe some isolated areas of 3/4 of an inch. Maybe some really isolated areas of 1 inch. The HRRR tends to be a little bit wetter because it's slower moving, and it's got the showers moving over the same areas over and over again. So let's go to the NAM next. Let's do the NAM next. All right. Oh, the 0Z. We don't have the 0Z in. That's the problem. So we can show you the 18Z here, and you can see the rain. Similar look, a little bit heavier, though, with the yellows, and you can see it just kind of takes its sweet time getting on out of here. Might not be out of here until 5 o'clock, and that would be Nassau County, Suffolk. It might even linger even more than that. Hopefully it moves a little quicker than that. But it's going to raining most of the day here, and if we go to the total accumulated precip, NAM is wetter, and it definitely gives most areas over an inch of rain, which, again, things are so dry still. You still got that wildfire burning in Jersey in Wharton State Forest, so they could definitely use the rain. It just sucks it's got to linger around, but that's the way this front is. So we have several other. All right, one more model we'll look at here, and that is the HDRPS. So here's the HDRPS, pretty much in agreement with all the other models. It looks like here, the timing, it's just slow timing. So total accumulated precip on this, and again, it's got that around a 1 inch amount. So the HDRPS, NAM are heavier, HRRR is a little lighter. Given the severe weather element of things, even though we're not going to see the severe weather, there's a lot of moisture with this. So if we pan this back out to the eastern U.S. view, I can't use that for the HDRPS. But it's not available. But let's go to the GFS, and we'll show you the moisture, 700 to 900 moisture that we're going to have. So there is some pretty deep green moisture there. There you go. So it's pretty deep green moisture, so that's why we'll have to see how quickly this moves along. Let's at the GFS. It doesn't want to move it along a little quicker. This is the 18Z run, of course, so it is an older run. And it's not a short-range model either, so keep that in mind. Dew points and wind flow beyond that, so just to show you the rest of the week, the winds go west on Tuesday, so that drier air, and then we have this system moving to the south. So you can see it's pretty dry air. Even Thursday we have dry air, and then Friday we have still dry air. But then we've got to watch for this front that's going to try to move through. And you can see what the GFS is doing. Brings this front down into the area here as a backdoor cold front for Saturday, and that could bring some sucky drizzle, perhaps. And then Sunday it kind of slowly lifts on out. But the GFS not as optimistic with the warmth. Remember, we are looking at dew points here. Okay, we'll go to the temperatures in a moment. So temperatures definitely a little more optimistic with warmth on Tuesday there. Wednesday cools it down a little bit. Thursday still right around normal. We start to warm it up Friday, but then this cold air comes in, and you can see it only has us in the 30s. And if we got backdoored like this, there could be sucky drizzle. I'm sure, this is saturated the whole way through. So, except maybe not at the surface. I see 38, but a surface dew point of 11. So maybe we won't have sucky drizzle. Maybe. But eventually it'll probably, when that warm front arrives, you probably will have to deal with it eventually. And you can see the warmth that's trying to get in for the weekend. But the GFS just has that backdoor front there blocking everything. And look at this on Monday. Look at how much more warm that is. So now we're going to compare this to the European. Again, now the European has different temperatures, and I don't think the 18Z Euro is going to take us far enough out. But it gets that warm front a lot closer. That's the 18Z Euro. We'll go to the 12Z Euro. You can see, unfortunately, the Euro with this kind of setup still doesn't have that front through, which means we might have to deal with sucky drizzle with that backdoor front just sitting there. So we're going to be playing with this backdoor front probably to end the month. That's what it looks like. I mean, eventually it'll make it through before the month is over. Obviously, it's next weekend. It's a ways away. So we'll go ahead and we'll go back to the GFS. Just look at our general look at sky cover. So for tomorrow, obviously, plenty of clouds. This is a low resolution, but it's showing Tuesday. We'll see some more sun, but probably still not completely clear. Now, Wednesday, we could clear it out for a time in between systems. And then hopefully maybe Thursday would be the next chance for some clear skies, hopefully, it looks like. So we'll go to the RGM next. Obviously, that is a low-resolution model, so let's go look at the RGM. Obviously, clouds thicken tomorrow. We have the clouds lingering around. Maybe we see a little bit of peak of sun before it sets around 7 o'clock, perhaps. And then for Tuesday, it is showing some scattered cirrus, but if you look off to the south, it looks pretty clear. So it won't be a bad day. It'll be some mix of sun and clouds. It won't be terrible. Wednesday, we're going to have clouds, that passing system, and that's as far as we get on the RGM. So last stop, the Climate Prediction Center here, 6 to 10 day outlook, and you can see here that it has us above normal, on the fringe of above normal temperatures, and precipitation above normal as well for almost everybody except for the interior southwest there. But everybody is dealing with above normal precipitation. And there's the 6 to 10 day outlook, and again, you can see very good, excellent chance of above normal in the south. We're going to be on the fringe, which kind of, when you look at this, it kind of tells you right there that there's a storm track and front setting up in that area, and that's a focal point for precipitation. And it looks like it's right over us, near us. 8 to 14 day, we see that ridge building, and this is as we head to April. Obviously, it looks like they're going more with the European and bringing the warmth in for much of the country except the West Coast, and slight chances of above normal precipitation. So it does dial back in April, which really what it shouldn't happen, because April is the month usually where, you know what they say, April showers bring May flowers. So yeah, we'll have to see about that, right? So that's going to wrap up this Long Island weather outlook and update. Have a good night.